The greatest enemy of knowledge is not ignorance, it is the illusion of knowledge. Stephen Hawking. Why do we believe the things we do? Are our convictions truly reflections of deep contemplation, or are they subtle declarations of status? In an age where identity is currency, what we believe may be less about truth and more about appearance. A term making rounds in intellectual and online circles is luxury beliefs. Originally coined by Rob Henderson, a former serviceman turned sociologist, the phrase refers to opinions or ideologies that, while seemingly virtuous, primarily serve as signals of elite social standing, often at the cost of those less privileged. In his talk at a behavioral economics event called Nudge Stock, Henderson argued that in the past, the upper class expressed their status through luxury goods and elite leisure. But as material markers became more widely accessible, the elite turned to something more abstract: belief. In this modern era, where high fashion can be found in fast fashion stores and gourmet coffee is a drive-through order away, beliefs have become the new status symbols. Instead of a Rolex or a Bentley, some assert their distinction through complex, often esoteric ideologies. According to Henderson, these beliefs are intentionally contrarian, crafted to stand in opposition to popular or ordinary views. They're abstract, intellectually demanding, and difficult to justify without a university education or access to niche discourse. In a podcast titled Deprogrammed, Henderson explains how these beliefs mimic animal behaviors from nature. He draws parallels with Zahavi's theory of costly signaling, like the African gazelle that stots or jumps high in front of predators to demonstrate strength. Similarly, luxury beliefs, he suggests, are displays of mental or cultural fitness designed to repel criticism and assert superiority. The logic seems tight at first glance. It's clever. It appeals to our desire to decode the cultural matrix. But read it again, slowly. The concept, while elegant on the surface, begins to unravel under scrutiny. Let's begin with the premise. If every belief held by a wealthy individual could be labeled a luxury belief, then the term loses meaning. So it must apply selectively. But who decides which beliefs qualify? Who defines what harms the lower class? According to Henderson, any belief held by elites that disadvantages the poor counts. But the criteria are murky. For instance, is the belief in gun rights, a stance fiercely defended by some affluent Americans, not a luxury belief? It certainly has dire consequences for the average citizen, given the relentless stream of mass shootings. Yet Henderson, likely leaning conservative, doesn't seem to count that among his list. The inconsistency suggests the theory is shaped more by political bias than objective analysis. This inconsistency mirrors how the term elites gets tossed around. Who qualifies? Is it Bill Clinton, a man who rose from poverty, or Donald Trump, born into wealth? If not background, is it belief that defines elitism? Then elite simply becomes shorthand for people I disagree with. It stops being descriptive and starts becoming dismissive. There's a deeper issue here, an implication that only the affluent are capable of holding nuanced or progressive beliefs. Henderson posits that the working class doesn't understand terms like gendered or cultural appropriation. That's a dangerous and lazy generalization. Intelligence and curiosity are not confined to income brackets. Peel back the theory further, and you'll find a leap from sociology to evolutionary biology, an attempt to ground class behavior in the natural instincts of animals. Using Zahavi's gazelle metaphor, Henderson claims that just as animals use extravagant displays to signal fitness, humans use beliefs to signify cultural superiority, but the metaphor strains under the weight of real-world nuance. Consider this. Walking through a dangerous neighborhood with a designer handbag might signal status, but it could also make you a target. The idea that beliefs function as deterrents or power signals in the same way is a stretch. It's an elegant comparison on paper, but in practice the logic crumbles. What we're left with is a theory that, ironically, resembles what it criticizes. It's dressed in intellectual finery, filled with name drops like Bourdieu, Veblen, and Durkheim, sprinkled with biology, and presented as a revelation. But dig deeper, and it's a soup of half-baked ideas connected more by aesthetic than substance. Even the data cited to support it, the YouGov poll, for example, doesn't hold up. While it shows that higher income earners are more likely to support defund the police, it also reveals that they're more likely to deny systemic racism in policing. The numbers aren't a smoking gun. They're a mixed bag, and the theory cherry-picks what fits. And here's the twist: the real target of Henderson's theory isn't all wealthy people. It's a particular archetype, the affluent progressive, the champagne socialist, the upper-class liberal who dares to advocate for causes that challenge the status quo. Henderson revives a caricature that's been around for decades, from Tom Wolfe's radical chic to jabs at self-loathing liberals. The message is clear: if you're rich and left-wing, your beliefs must be fake. This assumption that advocating for equality while privileged is hypocritical is as old as class politics itself, but it ignores a fundamental truth. People are capable of advocating for justice even when it threatens their own position. Being rich doesn't disqualify you from empathy or vision. So why does this theory resonate so powerfully on the right? Because it fits perfectly into their narrative. Henderson's background, military service, humble beginnings, elite education, gives him the credibility to say what they want to hear. He's a vessel, and the theory is ammunition. It's been embraced by media outlets and commentators looking to discredit progressive ideas by calling them superficial status plays. But here's the irony: the idea of luxury beliefs is itself a luxury. It's a neat, tidy, performative critique that serves the same function it criticizes: signaling allegiance, discrediting opposition, and reinforcing tribal lines. It doesn't ask us to think more deeply. It doesn't offer a path forward. It just throws another punch in a never-ending culture war. Like the term performative, it dismisses others' views without engaging them. You believe this not because it's right, but because it makes you look good. Where do you go from there? Nowhere. And that's the point. The theory is designed not to resolve, but to escalate, to fan the flames of online debates, to give YouTubers and pundits a fresh buzzword. It's intellectual fast food, satisfying in the moment, empty in the long run. So perhaps the real luxury belief is believing that we can reduce human complexity to catchy theories. That ideology is just a fashion statement, that people don't believe what they do out of conviction, but to climb the social ladder. That kind of cynicism is seductive, but it's also corrosive. We can do better. We must ask deeper questions. Not just what do we believe, but why and for whom. Only then can belief become more than a signal. It can become a force for truth.